بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We're still studying the etiquettes of dua, and we have not started to study the ahadith in the chapter that deals with dua from this great book Riyadus Salihin. And the fourth etiquette is to face the Qibla. Sincerity, praising Allah and glorifying Him, offering salutation to the Prophet ﷺ, and then facing the Qibla. Is it a must? No. To make dua, you can face anywhere, but the more you face the Qibla, the better it is. It's like reciting Quran. You can face anywhere, but if you face the Qibla, this is more rewardable. And Umar ibn Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, told us that the Prophet ﷺ, on the night of Badr, he spent the whole night facing the Qibla, raising his hands and invoking Allah Azza wa Jal to grant him victory the following night. And this shows you the importance of connecting yourself to Allah Azza wa Jal. Tomorrow, you're going to fight an enemy. Any kind of enemy? No. We left Medina thinking that we are going to intercept a trade caravan. No soldiers, no fighting, nothing. So we did not take heavy armory with us and weaponry. We only took swords and spears, nothing else. Walking. We were 300 plus men. And once we reached there, we discovered that the caravan is gone and 1,000 soldiers fully equipped with camels, with horses, with everything, with their armor, are fighting us. They're 3 times as big and well equipped, and we don't have shields, we have nothing. What would you do? I personally, if I skip the idea of fleeing and going home, if I'm going to fight tomorrow morning, I will take a good night's sleep because I need my strength. What did the Prophet do, alayhi salatu wasalam? He spent the whole night praying and invoking Allah Azza wa Jal. And now you know where the victory comes from. It comes from Allah. And this is why we've been losing all of our lives. Because we depend on ourselves. We depend on our strength. We depend on our F-15 and F-16. But if we depend on Allah Azza wa Jal and we are true with Him, He will grant us victory. So he spent the whole night facing the Qibla, which is one of the etiquettes of dua, plus number 5, which was raising the hands. Now, in the hadith of Salman that we've mentioned last time, Allah is bashful and most generous. When you raise your hands, He would not set them back empty-handed. So raising the hands is one of the etiquettes of dua. However, you do not raise your hands in places the Prophet did not raise his hands, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In places that were not mentioned to us, you can raise your hands. Sheikh, what are you saying? You're confusing me. I'll give you an example. What is the ruling in Jum'ah prayer? In Friday prayer, this happens every week, correct? Says no, can happen twice a week. No, definitely it happens only on Friday. So when the Imam says, "Oh Allah, forgive our sins and grant us victory over our enemies and send water to places of drought," he's making dua. What's the ruling for the congregation? To raise their hands and say, Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. Scholars say, and this is the saying of the companions of the Prophet, they said that we would never ever raise our hands when the Prophet ﷺ makes dua in Friday, which means that this is an innovation. So it is not permissible for you to raise your hands on Friday, except in one simple case, and that is when the Imam is calling for water, for rain. This is called istisqa. So if the Imam raises his hands, "Oh Allah, grant us rain. Oh Allah, make the thirsty have the water and make the dry land flourished with water." This is istisqa, asking Allah for rain. Everybody must raise their hands. Other than that, in normal cases, no. Very good. What else, Sheikh? If you, for example, finish food and you would like to say, Allahumma lakal hamd hamdan kathiran tayyiban mubarakan fi, or you want to say the dua, Alhamdulillah alladhi at'amani hadha wa razaqanih min ghayri hawlin minni wala quwwa. So you raise your hand and say it. Said, wait. Did the Prophet do it? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, no, we have only the dua. But generally speaking, he might have. He might have is not sufficient and it is not enough. So this is something that is from your delusion. You do not apply it. Likewise, after every daily prayer, 5 daily prayers we have, we see a lot of the Muslims, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. They raise their hands and start making dua. Is this permissible? We say raising the hands for dua is permissible. But in this situation, 10 years the Prophet prayed in Medina, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Never was reported to us in the books of the hadith that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam raised his hands for dua after the daily prayers. This makes it an innovation. And because it is not recommended, unfortunately, people fight this. And not only that, people make dua. Some of them, after making dua, wash their face. What are you doing? He made dua and then he washes his face. And some of them washes his whole body as if he's taking a bath. I've seen this. All of this is innovation. Some of the brothers, after making salam, immediately he puts his hand over his head. Why? He's preventing himself from flying, bringing himself down. What are you doing, akhi? Is this part of the sunnah? Definitely, it is not part of the sunnah. Some of the brothers, after making dhikr, he opens his shirt and he blows inside. And I look, maybe there is someone inside or something. What is he doing? All of this is innovation. I have no problem in doing it, but bring me hadith from the sunnah. If the Prophet did not do it, the companions did not do it, where are you bringing it from? So no, my father used to do it and my grandfather used to do it. MashaAllah, your father is radiyallahu anh. He's a companion, he's a scholar. We Muslims, we don't bring our forms of worship from the street. We bring it from the Quran and from the Sunnah. If it's not authentic, then we do not apply it and we do not do it. So, in this case, Sheikh, when do I raise my hands? The answer is very simple. You raise your hands in general times. Give example, Sheikh. For example, the Prophet told us, alayhi salatu wasalam, that the dua in the last third of the night is answered. So, you prayed your witr, and there are 10 minutes for Fajr prayer. This time is Sahar. This is one of the best and strongest time. And you have something urgently, wake up this time. And after you finish, you raise your hands. Praise Allah, offer salutation to the Prophet ﷺ, and invoke Allah. Raising the hands is no problem. The Prophet tells us between adhan and iqamah is a place of acceptance. So after the adhan, you're in the masjid, raise your hands and make dua, no problem. You're in your car going for an interview, if you're not driving, because if you're driving and you raise your hands, you will not even have your interview nor go back home safe. No, if you're a passenger or in the bus and you're going to interview, you want to make dua, raise your hands, no problem in that at all. If you're traveling from one city to the other, you're in the airplane, instead of wasting your time watching movies, which is haram, raise your hands and make dua, and Allah would answer your dua. Number 6, to ask Allah Azza wa Jal thrice. The Prophet ﷺ, as in Sahih al-Bukhari, whenever he asks Allah something, he asks him 3 times. So you don't say, oh Allah forgive me, and that is it. No, oh Allah forgive me, oh Allah forgive me, oh Allah forgive me. Why? Because the son of Adam, me and you, if someone comes to us and says, please give me 5 riyals, and says, inshallah, please give me 5 riyals, inshallah, please give me 5 riyals, you'll smack him. Khalas, I understand. With Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah loves it when you insist and you show your humility Some people are arrogant, and this arrogance takes them straight to hell. I know people like this. Why don't you supplicate to Allah? Why don't you invoke Allah Azza wa Jal? You're sick. He said, no, no, no. When I was healthy, I did not ask him. I'm not going to ask him now when I'm in need. Astaghfirullah. This is kufr. This is arrogance. You're refusing to ask Allah Azza wa Jal for that. So ask Allah, insist on Him that He does what you want from Him, because Allah loves this. Unlike humans. Humans, when you ask them, they are fed up. Allah Azza wa Jal, the more you ask Him, the more He loves it from you, and He will give you what you desire and what you want. And this is simply because Allah is so great that He is the most generous, and nothing burdens Him. Nothing is difficult. He says in the Hadith Al-Qudsi, if you're first and last among the jinn and among the humans, yani 1 billion, 7 billion, hundreds and thousands of billions of His creation. He says, if you all gather and ask me what you want from anything that crosses your mind, and I give it all to you, my kingdom and my wealth will not be reduced except like a thread put in the ocean and you take the thread away. How much water is missing? Can you compare? Nothing. And nothing is missing from Allah Azza wa Jal, because at the end, all of it is His wealth. All of it, it is His creation. So whatever He gives you, it is not going to reduce any of His wealth. And that is why, always keep this in mind. When you ask Allah Azza wa Jal in your dua, and He doesn't give it to you, He did not prevent you from getting what you want because He is poor, He doesn't have it, nor because He's stingy or miserly, a'udhu billah. Allah is the most generous and He owns everything. So why did He prevent you? Because it is for your own good. So always ask Allah, but always be appreciative. We have a short break. Stay tuned, and inshallah we'll be right back. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Just before the break, we were talking about some of the etiquettes of dua. And among one of the greatest etiquettes of dua is thinking positively of Allah Azza wa Jal. Unfortunately, a lot of the Muslims do not think positively of Allah. How is that possible? I've heard this so many times from the Muslims. They say, Shaykh, whatever I want something, if I ask Allah, it will never happen. Have you heard this? A lot of the Muslims say, if I want a job so badly, I do not ask Allah Azza wa Jal. I do not say, oh Allah, make it happen. Why? He said, because I ask Allah so many times, and every time I ask Him, He does not make things happen. So I don't ask Him and it happens. And this is a very serious offense to Allah Azza wa Jal. As I said, Allah does not prevent you because He is poor or because He is miser. Allah is the most generous and He owns everything. He prevents you because it's good for you. So the Prophet says, alayhi salatu wassalam, Ud'u Allah wa antum muqinuna bil ijaba. Invoke Allah while you're certain that Allah will answer you. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, Allah Azza wa Jal Himself said, I am where my servant thinks of me. So if you think positive of Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah Azza wa Jal would make things happen for you. And if you think negative of Allah, Allah Azza wa Jal would not make things happen to you. Thinking positive of Allah is extremely important. One of the scholars said to his companion and friend, no matter how much I give in the cause of Allah, Allah doubles that to me. And this is practice. Yani, every Muslim knows this. And every one of us has a story or more. No matter who you ask. Sometimes you are required to give something and you give it for the sake of Allah. Same day or the following day, you get double. So many times happened to me, alhamdulillah. But the problem is that we do not believe. We're hesitant. So maybe we make it once and we get in return, okay, make it again. Maybe it's not going to happen. So no, I'd rather be safe than sorry. You're thinking negative of Allah Azza wa Jal. So this scholar was saying this to his companion, his student. So the student went for a week and came back. And he said, I gave in the cause of Allah this much and nothing came back. The scholar told him, when I gave for the sake of Allah, I trusted him. But when you gave for the sake of Allah, you were testing him. So it depends how you think of Allah Azza wa Jal. If you think positive and you trust Allah Azza wa Jal, wallahi, more than what you have given will come to you in doubles. But if you're testing, you're not certain, let me see, here is 5 riyals, 10 riyals. After a day or two, nothing came back. Then you're thinking negatively and you're testing Allah the Almighty. Do you have any questions? Farik.
Sheikh, I have 2 questions. The first one is that when we are doing a certain dua, so is there any particular method of raising our hands, like should it be joined or should it be spread apart? And second question is that, as we all know that when we ask Allah, so certain times our duas are not accepted. For example, if I ask for a car, so Allah does not accept it because there may be some evil in it, like I may meet with an accident or something. So, but can we ask Allah in such a way that if I really want to drive the car and enjoy it, so can we ask Allah that, oh Allah, give me the car and don't let anything bad happen with it. Let only good happen with it. Because I really want the car and I want to enjoy it, but prevent the evil. So can we ask in such a way?
Regarding the first question, I don't know any specific way of the Sunnah described how the Prophet used to raise his hands. So what is modest and in the middle is acceptable. To raise your hands like this and say, oh Allah, give me this, give me that, Allah, this shows carelessness. To raise your hands like this is extreme and showing off. Some of the brothers, when they in dua qunut, they do this. Ya Allah, where are you going? This is again not part of the Sunnah. Yes, it was reported that the Prophet ﷺ used to raise his hands until his armpit would appear. So this is the way of doing it if you are insisting on Allah Azza wa Jal. But the usual is to raise it as when you do takbir to your face level, not part away and not this much in the middle. And as I said, there isn't any specific correct or wrong way of doing it. So inshallah, both would be acceptable. Don't do extreme, be in the middle always. Now, as for asking Allah Azza wa Jal with details, this is form of aggression. So you want a car. So you say, oh Allah Azza wa Jal, grant me the following car. This is okay. But when you say, and prevent me from any accidents or any scratch on the paint, and always make it clean, and hopefully that I don't have any accidents, and don't make me exceed the speed limit. And this is aggression. When you ask Allah Azza wa Jal, make your dua general. So ask Allah Azza wa Jal for what you want. But don't put a list into that. Oh Allah, forgive me. But forgive me without giving me any trials or any poverty or any illness. Forgive me without any hardship on me. And I want to be rich. What is this? This is inappropriate. Ask Allah general questions or dua, but do not specify. As Abdullah ibn al-Mughaffal, the great companion of the Prophet ﷺ, may Allah be pleased with him, heard his son making dua. And what was the son making dua for? He heard his son say, oh Allah, grant me the white palace to the right side of the people who enter Jannah. As if the son had a Google map and it said that on the right to the Jannah, if you enter, the first palace is white. So the companion said to his son, my son, I heard the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, that from my ummah, there will be people who transgress in dua and in wudu. Dua meaning this. How do you know that it is white to the right of? He said, my son, ask Allah for Jannah and seek refuge in Allah from hell. That is it. Don't ask, oh Allah, I want in Jannah so and so, and if possible, a T-bone steak well done with some French fries, and I'd like to have for dessert. So, A'udhu Billah. This is transgression. Just ask Allah for Jannah. Oh Allah, grant me Jannah. And in the hadith, when any one of you says, Allahumma inni as'aluka al-Jannah 3 times, in another narration 7 times, some scholars make it weak, some scholars make it authentic. The Jannah says, oh Allah, admit him to me. If you ask Allah Jannah 7 times. So you just say, Allahumma nas'aluka al-Jannah. And the rest would come, inshaAllah, automatically. Yes. Dhafar.
Sheikh, we find in the Sirah that the Prophet ﷺ and the people, they used to use this phrase, may your nose be rubbed in dust. Or like sometimes they used to say, Saqilat ka ummuk, may your mother lose you. Now, is this a dua against somebody? Is this a bad dua, or is that, or this, was this just a customary way of saying, like, I don't agree with you, or if you don't like somebody, or like what he said? So what was this? And if we have something like that in our own mother tongue, can we use that?
Okay, I did not understand a single word of what you had said. So can someone rephrase it quickly?
Sheikh, at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, people used to say, Wai haq, sakulat ka ummuk, and all these kind of things. So are these counted as curses?
Okay, these words in Arabic, they're not meant. So the Arabs, when you say wayhak or thakilatka ummuk, thakilatka ummuk means may your mother lose you. So the woman who lost her child, she's thakla. But the Prophet said this, as-salam, not intending any of it, when they told him that Safiya did not make the farewell tawaf because she has her monthly period. He said, aqra halqa, meaning may she be slaughtered and shaved her head. In Arabic, this is not intended at all. So this is not dua, and it can be used when the people use it. Likewise, in your own language, if there are things in your own language that has the same meaning, this is permissible to be used. But if it's intended in your own language, then you should refrain from this, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. This is all the time we have. Until we meet next time, fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
He created the universe.